Okay. My name's Kris Killman. I've been painting watercolors from my own photography probably for 35 years at this point now. I started out with how-to books. Realized I couldn't sell them pretty quick. Had to give them away. So you give away all your how-to book paintings, and then it's like, I need to start getting my own material. So I got into film photography, and then opportunity to help start the Little Egypt Art Association came along. So I was one of the founding members there in Marion, and we got that started. And I was the first secretary of that organization, past president, held a lot of the positions there. And this show that's hanging right now is kind of a representation of where I'm at with photography and watercolors, and we just got off a big mural project recently, just came off of that. So,
how many murals have you done across Southern Illinois so far?
25 to 30.
Have you really?
Across Southern Illinois. Got quite a few. Most of them are outdoor. I have some indoor murals. We just painted the one at Woods Crossroads between Harrisburg and Shawneetown. We painted it in my garage with one of the members of LEA, Janet Bixler, helped me out on that one. And we got to paint it in my garage. And then we went out to the site, hung a frame. Then we screwed the mural to the frame. That's
cool.
And so
that's an easy way to do it.
It's a great way to do it. And I was able to spend a lot of time with it in my garage. Where when I'm on site and location, there's a lot of transportation and weather you're dealing with and this and that and time frames. And this one had an easy time frame. So this one turned out to be really a lot of fun to do. So.
What's the furthest away you've done?
Christopher, probably Metropolis. Metropolis. I have painted on the flood wall at Paducah. But I was painting on the south end of town, not in the place you'd normally see. One of the Ingram barge builders, the Ingram group down there. He's got he builds barges, and he wanted his barges painted in all four seasons on the flood wall outside of his headquarters. And it's not generally open to the public, but he got to see all of his favorite barges floating down the Ohio River in all four seasons.
That's cool.
And I got called in to help finish out this area or finish out that area. While we were painting murals also in Metropolis at the time. We put up 6 of them in Metropolis.
Cool.
So that was, that's probably about the furthest out I've gone with it.
You're self-taught. You didn't take any art classes or go to college or anything like that for art?
No. And in some ways I'm kind of glad I did, because I didn't have to be trained by somebody else the way they think I ought to paint or photograph. I was able to kind of work through this myself and learn. You learn the hard way, but then you never forget. Once you make that mistake, it's like, I wish I hadn't had those settings on my camera, or I wish I hadn't tried this watercolor technique or whatever, because those colors don't work together. But once you make those mistakes, you generally don't make them again. It sticks.
It sticks.
and you kind of like, okay, now I know what to do and what not to do. And I had some talented photographers when we started the camera club that actually ran it at first. And I ran around with some talented photographers, and I picked up a lot of I really kind of got in. I was using my own film images to paint by. There's some images in this show that are from the film days when I was using film, but then digital became so much more convenient, and I could print them out right there in my studio, and then go right to the drawing board and paint them. So after I retired when I was 50.
Oh wow!
And
good for you.
I was able to retire at 50, and I've been painting. I really went at it full time at that point, and got into a lot more mural painting after that, because I had the time. The murals in Metropolis, I switched to evening shift so I could paint during the day. But that was the last murals that I painted while I was working.
Yeah.
And then got into it after retirement to kind of just knock them out and use Photoshop to create the images, design them in Photoshop, and I can go back and forth with my clients on the design process. Yeah. And so that's really helpful with the digital. In Photoshop, well, if you can imagine it, you can create it in Photoshop. Yeah. And if you learn Photoshop skills, it'll take you to the places where you sometimes never expected to go. Yeah. But we're like, you put this filter on it, change that, do this, and all of a sudden you look back and think, wow, look at this now. I got something here. Sometimes it's that wow moment that you always try to get, either as a photographer, as a painter, or in post-production. You go for that wow moment. And then if you get it, walk away. Don't play
know
with
when
it.
to quit.
Know when to quit.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's part of a lot of it.
Yeah, that's
when to quit.
And know when to quit. With watercolors, sometimes I've overdone them. I thought, I wish I'd have quit like 5 moves ago. Yeah. You know,
I really need an edit undo in real life.
Yes. Wouldn't that be sweet? Yeah.
Edit undo.
Yeah. Yeah, I could do several things there. You look back and think, but just don't look back. Just keep on going. Just keep on trucking. So so it's a combination. The show is really a combination of watercolor paintings done from my own photography, then it's straight photography, and then it's photo art. Got it. Really, you got a combination.
How many years are you thinking this is spanning?
I know those water lilies over there in the corner were a real peaceful scene, and when I was working at the federal prison for a career, and it was a stressful time at that point in time. Yeah. I remember painting that scene, and I had it hanging in my studio. I wasn't going to sell it for years. It was just so peaceful, and I always thought, this is what I need. I need things just to slow down a little bit, be a little more peaceful. You go to work and you never know what you're walking into in a place like that. Yeah. And so that was probably created in the early to mid 90s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So is that the oldest one?
I think that's the oldest one.
That's the oldest one.
In here, yeah.
What's the newest?
The newest, probably that watercolor right there did that one just
the daisies or the tulips?
It's the Cosmos.
Oh, Cosmos.
The Cosmos out of Rendleman's. Did that one the owl is the latest one.
Oh, okay.
The owl. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Several of these are from this last year. The eagle with the moon behind. That was from last year. So yeah, we got several current ones and several, spanning several years. Yeah. Here. So I've been all over the country on some of these shots. Grand Canyon up there. Yeah. This is Ohio. That's Ohio. Tulips.
A lot of years and a lot of
years.
Area.
Yeah.
A lot of miles.
Yeah. With a camera club, they like to go on photo treks. Yeah. And I like to get my students out on those photo treks because then they're out in the field with experienced photographers and they can learn from it. Yeah. And that's not only are we talking about photography in class and maybe trying some techniques in class, we're also in the field. And there's where the fun's at. Yeah. There's where the fun's at.
For sure.
Get down on the ground and light up a mushroom, or catch a nice waterfall or a great sunset or sunrise, and then take it into post-production and go from there. And see what you can come up with. Yeah. So it's all good stuff. Yeah. And the one thing that I would say about all this is it keeps the passion alive. I'm not just stuck with one particular medium. I'm not just a photographer. I'm not just a watercolorist. I'm not just a muralist. I can, and I've told my students, burnout factor is always, old man burnout is always tapping on your shoulder. If you're not careful and you don't pay attention to them, everything starts flatlining and you don't find the fun in it no more. And having multiple mediums to go into has helped me greatly to keep the old man burnout from getting to me.
Yeah.
And if I, having struggles with one medium, I can switch to another one.
Yeah.
It's been real helpful in my instance. Most people don't go into multiple mediums like that, but in this case, I know the benefits. So I'll just be creating till the last breath I have on this earth.
Multi-faceted talent.
Yeah, well, it's been fun. It's been fun, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Where can people see the show?
Well, it's at the Harrisburg Library, and it's open during normal library hours. And I'm going to have a closing reception on this, and I'm going to give a presentation at that reception on photography and painting. So I'm going to talk probably about how I transition from one to the other and how I benefit from both. And that reception is February 25th from 2 to 4.
Got it.
In the basement of the Harrisburg Library.
Great. All right. Well, thanks for talking to me today.
I appreciate it. You betcha. My pleasure.